Hey everybody! So, since I've started learning languages, I've always had the question of what would happen if I fully dedicated myself to a language for 2 weeks. A few days ago I had a crazy idea to learn a random language in that time period of 14 days. So I got my box from China of mint green tea Oreos, I still have them, and I put 12 languages, random ones, that I've wanted to learn for the longest time into this box. So I'm gonna draw one, and I'm gonna learn that language for 2 weeks. Malay. So the first thing you want to do when learning any language is to understand the basic history of where it came from and maybe some basic cultural aspects as well. So for the Malay language, it originates in Southeast Asia and is spoken in Malay, and similar dialects are also spoken in Indonesia, and of course it's also spoken in Singapore and in the country of Brunei. I knew Malay would be a great language to learn because of its widespread use, its simple grammar, and because it's just a fascinating region overall. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to study this language 4 to 8 hours a day, and in the first part of this challenge, I'll focus mainly on vocabulary and understanding the grammar, and in the second week, in those last 7 days, I'm going to focus on speaking using italki. Recently I reached out to italki and they agreed to partner with me in this video because I was going to use their product anyway, and I decided it would be great if we could do it together. For the last year now, I've used italki to learn my languages, and I can say it's really helped because I've used it to learn Russian in under a month and also Polish in 2 weeks. And if you use that link that's at the top of the description, not only will it help you in your language learning journey, but it will also support my channel. So let's just get right into the challenge with day 1. Even after only a few minutes of studying, I can already see that there's so many similar words to Arabic and indirectly Persian, and that's going to really help me in the long run. Over the years, I've also learned that the best way to learn vocabulary is to learn it through context, which is what I'm doing right now.
Apa kabar? Nama saya John Stanton. Saya orang Inggris. Saya pegawai bank.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Selamat, saya sedang belajar Bahasa Malaysia. It's day 2. That's about all I can do so far. Yesterday I got about 150 words in. I have been studying while eating. I am starting to get a good grasp of the language. It is 1:18 a.m. on day 2 technically. Let's see how many words I have so far actually. Ooh, 136. I just have to study them. But yeah, we're well on track as long as I finish studying. Probably won't be able to go to bed till 3 tonight. But it's okay because this is fun for me. Good morning everyone, it is day 7 and we are currently about to do our first italki lesson. So I pretty much split my language learning into 2 parts. The first part was just mass studying, just taking in a lot of words for the course of 6 days, and now I'm going to start speaking. And I believe this is the most important part of language learning, because if you don't really speak a language, how do you expect to, well, speak the language? We're gonna dive right into our first lesson in Bahasa Malaysia.
Apa kabar?
Saya baik. Terima kasih. DJ, apa kabar?
Saya juga baik. Saya juga baik.
Okay.
Because Malaysian and Indonesian are so closely related, I thought for the last few days of this challenge I would also introduce myself to the Indonesian language, because really they're essentially the same language with different vocabulary. So not only will I learn Malay in this challenge, but I'll also get to learn some Indonesian as well, and that will be quite useful when I travel to that region of the world. So let's get into the lesson.
Selamat malam untuk diri saya.
Oke, selamat malam.
Selamat pagi. Masakan Thai.
And another great lesson with italki. That was my third day on the platform. It just gets better each time. In a few more days, we're going to have one more lesson in the Malay language, which will be a 30-minute italki lesson where I'll only speak in Bahasa Malaysia as a final examination to see how much I've learned in 2 weeks. This is going to be one of the most interesting and probably one of the most difficult tests in my life, but I do believe it's achievable. I think it's about time to talk about why I love a language. Because when you're learning a language, I really believe that it's very important, very vital to have a deep, passionate love for this language. And when it comes to Malay, there's a few reasons why I love it. The first time I was ever exposed to the Malay language was when I was watching Crazy Rich Asians, and a lot of the cast was Malaysian, and it took place in Singapore. And because Singapore is a mixture of Malay, Tamil, Chinese, and British cultures, I was able to see this Malay culture on the big screen for the first time. And I really fell in love with this Malay language and with Singapore as well. Alright, here we go. Today is the final test. I'm gonna try to have a 15-minute conversation purely in Malay with a Malay speaker about what I'm not sure, but I'm excited. Let's start. Hi, apa kabar?
Selamat petang ya. Hari ini sebenarnya hari gembira.
Apa? Apa berkata?
Hari ini adalah hari gembira di Malaysia. Mereka berpuasa untuk 1 bulan. Ya.
Selamat Hari Raya untuk Anda. Kamu sangat gembira.
Ya, saya gembira ya. Kenapa tidak? Why not ya? Kamu memberitahu saya di sini, kamu mahu tahu lebih tentang budaya di Malaysia. Macam semua.
Saya.
Ada banyak perkampungan Melayu. The top that spins the longest, the person would be declared a winner.
Mereka serupa budaya Cina juga. Ada saya tak tahu casting saya cuba membuat tapi tidak sangat senang.
Agak susah ya.
Sangat susah sekali.
Saya rasa tidak sampai 1 minit dia sudah henti.
Tentu. Kamu perlu masa untuk membuat lebih.
Ya, perlu masa untuk berlatih bersungguh-sungguh. Kamu mempelajari bahasa Melayu bersungguh-sungguh. You work hard.
Sungguh-sungguh.
Ya. Apa filosofi hidup kamu?
Jadi falsafah saya, kalau kamu belajar bahasa berbeza, boleh melawat lebih, boleh faham budaya di negara berbeza lebih baik. Saya fikir dia sangat menarik untuk pelancong.
Saya setuju 100% dengan kamu. I agree 100% with you.
100.
Saya berharap kalau kamu ada apa pertanyaan ya tentang perkataan.
Terima kasih. Saya akan belajar lebih bahasa Malaysia. Dia sangat menarik. Dia sangat seronok juga.
So after 2 weeks, I can finally say I understand a bit of Bahasa Malayu and Indonesian, which is something I've always wanted to be able to say, but I've never took the time to study. And of course, I didn't learn this language fluently, that would just be impossible. But rather, I learned it to a conversational level, where I was able to interact with people in their own language. And my personal philosophy is that when I'm learning a language, it's for the people, not for presidents. So fluency is not necessarily my goal in the beginning. but rather to understand more about the region and to enhance my travels when I visit that region of the world. And after 14 days, I've already fell in love with the Malay language, and I want to dive deeper into my studies of this language. But unfortunately, we have to keep moving forward, and I already know what my next random language will be, and that language is going to be